ASMR. How you doing? I hope each and every single one of you is doing super duper bless. You watching right there. I hope you're doing super duper bless. What do we think about the gain volume on this one? Should I turn it up? Let me see. Unedited, unfiltered ASMR. Do you want me to turn up the gain? I'm gonna turn up the gain for you guys. Okay. The gain is at its peak. It is at its max. What do we think? I think. Okay. I'm gonna stop yapping. Also, I don't know if you can tell I'm filming on my camera. Guys, when I record this video, right? When I record on my camera, that's why I stopped recording on my camera. I'm looking at the what is it called? The thing that shows me my pictures, right? And the quality is top tier quality, right? But when I upload it to YouTube, or I put it on my laptop, and then upload it, the quality just becomes 720p. I think it's 720p. It just goes to 720p. But the quality here says it's HD, 23 frames per second, whatever the case may be, right? Put it on the laptop, upload it. Like, remember, you guys, all of my videos in the beginning until I started using my iPhone, I've been with this camera, and it just looks like shit. It looks like garbage. But when I play it on my laptop, it looks like shit. When I play on my phone, it looks slightly better, but still shit. Why is that? No idea. This camera sucks. It's only good for photography. Only buy this camera for photography. Alright, now, what are we going to ramble about today? Today, we're going to be talking about change. Now, change, this can be applied to anybody in the world, literally anybody. Whether it's your relationship, your career, your hobby, whatever the case may be. Change is a very important subject. It's a very touchy subject for me too. But first, let me pull up the definition for change. Okay? I'm going to use some keyboard sounds. So, according to Google, the definition of change, a verb, make someone or something different, alter or modify. Both parties voted against proposal to change the law. I don't know why. Okay. Definition 2, replace, brackets, something with something else, especially something of the same kind that is newer, better. Substitute one thing for another. Right? A change as a noun, the act or instance of making or becoming different. The change from a nomadic to agricultural society. Number 2, coins as opposed to paper currency. Okay, now that was the Google definition of change. I'm sorry if I'm this, guys. If you wanna the real concrete, of the video where I fully dive into it and just the intro stuff, I'd probably say skipped it through to 10 minutes, maybe 7 minutes. I'm gonna ask ChatGPT what changes now. ChatGPT, what is the true meaning of change in a person? So I asked it, what is the true meaning of change in a person? Why did it do that? Oh, okay, I see. The true meaning of change in a person is to shift their thoughts, behaviors, attitudes, values, or emotions. It's a transformation that can occur on many levels, from external actions to internal beliefs and feelings. Change often reflects growth or adaptation, whether it's driven by personal experience, challenges, or a conscious desire to evolve. It could be subtle or dramatic, and it doesn't always follow a linear path. Guys, keep that in mind. That's subtle foreshadowing. It can be a slow process or sudden realization. True change usually involves some level of self-awareness and a willingness to step outside of one's comfort zone is often tied to learning, healing, or becoming more authentic in one's own identity. Ultimately, change in a person can signify a deeper alignment with one's values or response to life circumstances that push for growth. What kind of change are you talking about? Personal growth or shift towards? That's a pretty good definition, right? I just grab my phone here. Now, guys, there's a little TMI, right? I'm low-key like making a video for my ex. That's not basically to beg for her to come back or anything, but it's like just open conversation, open a different perspective than how she sees the world. And change was like one of the reasons why we broke up. It's very complicated. I'm not gonna get into it. Basically, long story short, actually, you know what? I'm not gonna get into it. I'm not gonna get into that. I'm not gonna get into that. Anyways, so I'm gonna read off my little script, and then I'm gonna show you an accurate representation. So, because when I was recording these, I'm not fully done yet, but there's chapters. There's like chapter to it where it just got like deeper things like external noise, change, and time. Guys, change is relative to time. The more time you have, the more change you'll see, right? So I'm gonna close my laptop here. Actually, you know what? Let me ask ChatGPT, because I never did this. Is change relative to time? Relative to time. Yes, change is definitely relative to time. The time acts as the backdrop in which change unfolds. It is often the passage of time that allows for growth, learning, and the evolution of a person. I just want every single one of you guys to know that, especially a specific somebody. Whether it's a physical change, emotional growth, or shifts in perspective, time is a key factor in how these changes develop and become noticeable. In some cases, change is slow and gradual, building over years or decades, while other cases, a single moment or experience can trigger a sudden shift. But no matter the pace, the concept of time is essential in marking when change happens or how much change has occurred. In a way, change and time are inseparable. As time allows for reflection, adaptation, and progress, the older we get, the more we experience, and the more change we see in ourselves. You know what's crazy? I promise you on God, I never searched up this before on ChatGPT, but it's essentially what I wrote in my script when I was doing it for my girl. For my ex, sorry. That is so crazy, but to note something here. The only reason why I'm recording this, I'm doing this, I'm rambling about this, because this applies to any aspects of life, including a relationship. And I thought, I'm like, this is like the one part of the video where I can really expand on or go in and talk about on ASMR channel, because I was really proud of it, of how I wrote it, and yeah, what I've done in it, what I was talking about in it. So, and I thought like this is perfect for a YouTube video because, or a podcast episode, because like, it applies to anybody in life, anybody in life. So I'm gonna read off the script that I have and share some wisdom with you guys, right? So you can't change somebody, but I promise you, this is straight from my mouth. This is straight from my brain. I promise you. Okay, I can even show you the date. Okay, maybe I can't show it because I separated it. But let's see. Okay, look at that date right there, February 3rd, 25 at 5:52 p.m. But if we go to what's okay, well, you know what? I digress. Anyways, I don't know how to view the history of it. Okay, you can't change somebody, but the greatest form of love is is someone's willingness to change for you. But the idea is to grow and adapt with that other person to be the person you would want to be with for the rest of your life. The person you can love forever. Change is not perfect linear. It is not a constant. It is not straight up vertical, and it's not horizontally straight either. It is like this. And when I say it is like this, I'll show you. I'll draw it out for you guys. This is what I did. I'll draw it out for you guys. So I'll put my mic down so you can listen to me drawing it. Get it? This is what change looks like in anybody, in a relationship, in a person. This is what true change looks like. I'll find the example. I might have the example that I used in my video, that I used to make. I'm still not done that video, by the way. But let me see if I have it. I think I might have it. This was a good. This was on YouTube. This was the one I used in my video that I made for her. This is also, I think this was a better representation. But both that can actually be used. Okay, so remember this. What do we see? What is the common thing we see here? This represents change. This graph represents change. What is the common thing here? The common theme that we see here. Okay. Actually, I'll just say it. What do we see? Okay, it's going up. It is going up. It is going up. No matter what the dips or the peaks, it is going up. Here's another graph, because I redid that video so many times. Here's another graph. Same thing as going up, right? Change is also adapting, but in a relationship, you would want to adapt rather than to change. Okay, so back to this. What do we see here? What is the common theme here? What is the common theme? I'll give you guys a second to think about it. It is going upwards. It is going upwards. So you have your peaks, and then there's dips, and then there's times of no change. So how do I say this loud enough? I need to clip this on, Loki, but okay. I hope you can hear me from down here. Actually, okay, so we have our peaks. Let's see a different marker so you can see. Okay, so we have our dips, right? Dips, 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 right? Dips. But we also have, here's a different one. We also have our peaks. Peaks here, peaks here, peaks here, peaks here. Peak, 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 peak. And then we also have times where no change is really occurring. It's pretty stagnant. Kinda, in that way. Okay, so, but when you're willing to change for the person you love, it's always going to go up despite all the noise in between. I'm so sorry. So yeah, so despite all the noise in between, all these noises right there, right? I hope you can see. What's common? What's in common? It's all going up. It is all going up. The slip up or the dips that you made here and here, for example, what's the common thing here? It went up. The same dip that you have here, the same mistake that you made here, is a progress from what you made down here. And the same can be said right there. Though you slipped up again or you made a mistake, it still went up. You're still changing in the middle as it's increasing, right? So that's progress. That's change. That is real change. And the same. Okay, you made a mistake up here. Maybe it's the same mistake, but in the middle, what's going on? It's going up. Your change is going up. You're becoming a better person. Same can be said for the top one right here. What is going on there? It is again going up. The one up here and the one down here, maybe you made the same mistake, right? Or the same habit happened again, right? Guess what? That there, I know I made a lot of circles, but putting up here, this here, maybe it's the same mistake or habit that you did. Guess what though? It's on two different parts of the graph. And that change happened. That change, I did a big circle around here if you didn't notice. That's real change. That is real change. Of course, nobody's perfect. You can't expect your partner or a person to be perfect. Or even yourself in whatever you're changing it, right? You cannot expect this to be the same as this. Because there's change in the middle. You can't beat yourself up because you made the same mistake that you did there, up here. Because you're changing as a person. You're fundamentally changing, especially over time. Over time, change has occurred. Remember, time is relative to change, right? So I know there's a lot of scribbles, but I hope you understand what I'm talking about. There's quite a bit of scribbles. Sorry, that was loud. But you get what I'm trying to say, right? So let me read what else I have here. Moments of relapse, so like, damn, I should have done it while I did that. But moments of relapse will occur. And I say I'm not a victimizer, but okay. But the point is the relapse. So I'm talking about myself there, but mistakes that you made at the low and the high, like I just showed out. The moments of relapse that happen up here aren't the same as they were down there. Just like I was pointing on the graph. Now, I can't say this part though. Fixating on the negative dips is easy to do, especially when it's happening more than once. As I showed on the graph, there's multiple dips on the graph. But remember, guys. Okay. But when you take a step back and look at the whole picture, you're able to see that real growth. Take a step back. Take a step back and look at the whole picture. Despite all the scribbles, growth has occurred. Change has occurred. Adaptation has occurred. The dips are just a fraction of what's really going on in the real time. Or within that person, such as myself. Okay, all this to say, even though it doesn't mean I don't want to change. I don't want to change. Okay. I can't see it because some stuff's like personal. time is relative to change. The more time you have, the more change you'll see. The less time you have, the less change is likely to occur to a point where you want it. I would say you want it for her, right? Change is like an investment in stocks, ETFs, bonds, mutual funds, whatever. To see change occur, you have to be willing to wait the long term. A relationship, I'm talking to you guys now, a relationship or a person or your hobby is a long-term investment, okay? But at the end of the it's like a long-term investment. To see change, you gotta put in the work. And you gotta wait. Simple as that. Simple as that. So, what I said here, okay, but at the end of the day, I was still willing to change, and I have changed and adapted. Mentally, physically, morally, ethically, for myself. I don't know, but, like, for example, for myself, I'm not the same person that I was 5 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago. I think you guys can definitely see, if you've been a long-time supporter, you can tell, like, the content I make is different from when I first started, right? The quality has changed as well from when I first started, right? The things that I talk about or what I do have changed since I first started. Even like a year ago, things have changed, right? So I'm just using myself as a dummy. I mean, I'm the dummy in this video, but that you guys can learn from. So it's very vulnerable of me to do. I don't know if people made this far. If you have, maybe comment something about it if you can relate. But there was a point in our relationship, me and my ex, where, you know, she was asking a lot from me. Personally, I feel like, because she's an anxious person, right? Anxious attachment style, not avoidant attachment style. So what I learned over time is that anxious people, with people that anxious attachment styles, I forget what I wrote. I wrote it down somewhere, but they, so forgive me if I'm not saying it correctly. Sometimes they just keep asking for change, because they may feel like they're losing that person. The avoidant may be like pulling away, or like maybe they require more love and attention, or whatever the case may be. But there's something that's having them that wants control, because they lack the control they wanted in their childhood. So now they're trying to get it now. So there may come a point in the relationship with your anxious partner where they're asking for a lot. And I didn't know what this was at the time, where it makes the avoidant, and I've searched this up, it makes the avoidant overwhelmed. And that's what happened in our relationship, where we started to argue more. And, you know, and when I remember when I talked about dips and slips up, and that happened a few times. And then, you know, in the end of it, she's like, oh, I don't think it'll change, even though change has already occurred. I'm not saying this to gas myself. Like, I know change has occurred over our relationship, but there's just that certain time towards the end where, like, a lot was expected from me, and not a lot. I wasn't expecting a lot from her, but she was expecting a lot from me. Like a lot in a short time frame. And as a person who never dealt with emotions, not dealt with, but like someone who's never had to, in my whole life, like, be like more emotional, and even in past relationships, it was very relaxed. I didn't have to think about emotions. What does this mean? What does that mean? Blah, 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 blah. What happened was very natural, but here, you know, I had to change a lot. I had to change my thinking, I had to change a lot, right? And so it became overwhelming for me, and, you know, that set me back a little bit, and made me, you know, kind of afraid, which is why, you know, I made a few mistakes, and I own up to it, you know. Not something that I'm gonna like negate or deflect. Something happened and I fucked up, you know. I know, I told her that, but I know changes have occurred. She knows that too. I have notes that she's written here. She's like, oh, I'm so proud of you, so proud of how much she changed in our relationship. I literally have 4 letters right here on my wall stating that. I just want to put that out there, okay? But I'm not gonna go deep into my since we've broken up to now, I've learned a lot. I've realized a lot. I've thought a lot, and I've changed the way of my thinking a lot. Because at first, I would remember I talked about the video that I was making for her. At first, all I wanted to do was just like, not talk shit, but like let her know, like, oh, okay, you fucked me up, because she did fuck me up, but I wanted to let her know all the pain that she put on to me. And then the way I wrote everything, it's just like, it is me taking responsibility, but also trying to get her to take responsibility. But then as I learned more, I'd be like, okay, well, since you're anxious attachment style, this is why you were doing this, and this is why I was reacting like this, you know. So even my thinking from I guess it's 4 months now, 4 months and a bit of change since we broke up to now, everything's changed. My thinking have changed. So for basketball, I'll use basketball as another example. This is an example as a hobby now, because I also talked about hobbies, right? I'm not the same player that I was back in uni than I am now. I think a lot more on the court. I'm more patient. I make the right plays. I like to pass first. I'm a pass first guy, but I can score whenever, right? Back in uni, before COVID, I was a knockdown shooter. I'm talking about pickup ball. I'm not talking about even intramural ball. I was a knockdown shooter from 3. I was a great 3-point shooter, but when COVID hit, I wasn't able to get up reps. I couldn't practice anymore, so I shifted my game from, I can still hit 3s, not as consistently as I want to. I can hit 3s off the dribble. I need a rhythm 3. I'm not a good catch and shoot. I'm not a good catch and shoot 3-point shooter anymore, unfortunately. I'm very good off the dribble. If you guys ever watch Norman Powell, I was Norman Powell before Norman Powell. Right now, like in the past recent years, Norman Powell's only been going off this season, right? Because of Paul George left. But like 2 back when I started playing ball again, because of restrictions were less looser. I found that rhythm 3s are my go-to, but not as much as my mid-range. My mid-range, I'm goated to mid-range. Catch me in the mid-post, mid-elbow, anywhere in the mid-range. Because I was a big DeMar DeRozan fan. So then I was just like, okay, let me work in the mid-range. Pump fake, bump shoulder, you know, the Shea Gilgeous-Alexander bumps, you know, right? I do all that too. I'm more patient with my shot. My shot selection is different. I can take over when needed. Though, because my athleticism has kind of declined because of my knees, I've learned to be more crafty around the rim, or just handle the ball better. You know, more examples of change, right? In the gym. Yeah, I've been going to the gym for a long time, but now I've gone through, like, you know, different training phases where I'm like, oh, I'll do the bro split, push-pull legs, whatever. Now I have my own split that works, and I'm strong as ever. And I don't do deadlifts anymore. I don't squat. I still do bench, but, you know, these are examples of change. I know all this rambling that I did just came down to, like, okay, change happens. But now I'm giving you, like, examples that outside of relationships and outside of being a person for change. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this long ramble about change. I hope you learned something. If you did, let me know. If you want to talk about it, let me know. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you thought. Catch you in my next video.